everything in crypto is narrative driven. Okay, the majority of us have learned that by now. If we've been in the space long enough, everything is a narrative. Most of those narratives are bullshit. Let's be real about it. Because these narratives typically spawn speculation, and the speculation is what drives the markets. And the one thing that we saw early on was TradFi was shitting all over crypto. And in the midst of that, we were under the regime of administrations that were also trying to thwart the expansion, development, the inner functioning of the crypto market. One of the big projects, and I've touched base with him. He sent me messages on X, but there's a project that I actually want to go back into. I haven't had the chance to, but Dragonchain. How many of you guys remember Dragonchain? Because back in the day, everybody was all about Dragonchain, and they had to spend so much of the capital that they had generated just fighting the SEC, and what ultimately it seemed like a bullshit case, kind of like what they did with XRP, so many other projects, and they had to basically drain their accounts fighting themselves or fighting the SEC on claims like, oh, this is a security and you're doing this and you're doing that. And it's a shame that we've had to suffer through that phase of where we're at. And I would actually like to see Dragonchain kind of make some sort of comeback, if it's even possible. I don't know. I want to have the CEO on at some point in the not so distant future and kind of talk about that experience. Let me know in the comments if that interests you, because I would love to see the Trump administration and the current SEC and just how can we make right? How can we help some of these projects that were so dramatically affected by the actions of what I would consider a nefarious few in control of a lot of the strings associated with like Operation Choke Point 2.0, the SEC, like all of the stuff that's happened? How do we help make some of these projects that actually had legs and were actually building and doing really cool things? How do we help them get back on their feet? I would like to see some talk about that from the current administration, because that was so wide breadth and so many projects were affected in really bad ways. And I think we need to figure out a way to remedy some of that. That's my personal opinion. I don't know, but anyway, yeah, I want to have Joe on at some point and like talk about that experience. I think that's because if anything, I think it's a very strong testament to what we went through compared to where we are now. And, after fighting it, right, then we had prepare for it. While they were fighting it, and while a lot of these people were saying, oh, crypto's bad because of XYZ, and everyone on the left they were just regurgitating. What they do is they create these talking points and then they all repeat it ad nauseum, right? They don't really know what they're saying. They're just saying whatever they're told to say by whoever's paying them. Like, it's all just a bunch of BS, man. Like, it's all silly. But while they were all projecting these narratives on everybody, they were all preparing for it. They all knew it was coming, right? They all knew. And so you had a lot of them were establishing their investment vehicles, their trading desks, all of this stuff under the radar, while they're all basically just taking a dump on it. And so, that was the next stage.